And good evening, and welcome to another edition of Ken Boxer Live. I'm your host, Ken Boxer. Oh my God, have we got a show for you this evening. We have with us, all the way from Los Angeles, Hall of Fame adult movie actress, Rebecca Bardoux. Rebecca's work spans over 20 years in the business, while other actors peter in the adult movie industry. Rebecca continues to flourish and is probably in more demand than ever before. What you also will learn tonight is that Rebecca Bardoux is now in greater demand as a stand-up comedian, writer, and radio and advertising personality. This woman is busy. Let's get to know this award-winning actress and comedian, Rebecca Bardoux. So delighted to have you here.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored that you invited me to come on.
All the way from LA, you came up. I'm so delighted.
Who wouldn't want to come here for a day? It's
a beautiful city, isn't it?
It's very beautiful.
I mentioned in the intro, 20 years in the business.
Yeah.
How have you endured that? I mean, it's a long stretch.
I know. I don't know. Sometimes I look, and it's like, it goes like that, it went like that. I look back and it's 20 years. And I myself can't believe it. I didn't make any plans that I was going to stay in the industry for 20 years. It just happened. And I think, I believe I'm professional. I'm on time. I'm respectful. I have integrity. And it just worked out for me.
But 20 years is a long time. So when you got into the business, I mean, I've read you started as a stripper and then you got into the business. But is it the same motivation today as it was 20 years ago? I mean, is it still the same? When you went in 20 years, when you're doing a scene, for instance, is it you get the same adrenaline rush today that you did 20 years ago?
I can honestly say for some scenes, it's not as exciting. I grew up, and I say grew up in the 90s, and there we were doing features. It wasn't, nowadays there are a lot of these scenes that are on the internet. The stuff that we were doing were features. They were full-length movies. There were 16, 17-hour days on the set. And that I enjoyed.
And it was like a family, right?
Well, yes, back then it was a family. You can imagine, people say, oh, you were with all these different people. No, it was just a group of people, the same people going to the set every day. Different movie, same people.
You know what it reminds me of is in the early days of motion pictures, you have contract players.
Yes.
Which they now do, and you were a contract player, right?
Well, to be honest, I never was under contract with a specific studio. I did work for all of them, and I'm glad that I didn't go under contract because I wouldn't have got the opportunity to spread myself out and experience all different type of the projects that I worked on.
Mm-hmm. But when you started 20 years ago, pre-AIDS, yes?
No.
No, it was in the height of the AIDS?
It was, 92. I mean, it was there. It wasn't as bad as it was 10 years ago, but yeah, it was there. The first thing off the boat, you go and get your test. And that's something that I think anyone getting into this industry or thinking about it is that's something that you have to accept. There's a job hazard here.
How do you accept that?
I accept it.
Or how'd you get around that?
I accept it. And this might be terrible for me to say, but I'm going to be honest about it. When I got in back 20 years ago, I didn't think of it. I thought, well, here these people are testing. They know about what's going on. So they must have some secret formula that's going to protect us.
But you saw fellow actors dying, right?
No.
Maybe not in your industry, but certainly in the...
Oh, and just in general?
In general. So it still didn't affect you then?
No, because I didn't even think about it. Now looking back to think about it, I sincerely believed at that time, like so many people in the world did, that if you're tested and you test clean, you're fine and you're safe.
But now that you know otherwise,
yeah.
Okay, going back, would you do it all differently? Would you demand condoms with your partner?
Knowing what I know today,
yes.
I wouldn't change it.
Really?
No, because this is how I feel about, in general, with my life and my career. As I sit here today with you, Ken, and we talk, I'm so blessed and happy to be where I am. And if I have to go back and change something, I might not end up here.
Well, what motivated you? Let's go back to that motivation, because with the 20 years, because that's a long
Yes, yeah.
period of time in your industry. As I said, people petered out.
I like that.
As you know, some fizzled, some petered out. I want to, you know, when you started though, was it the money? Was it the glamour? Was it the sex? And all of the above? And is it different today?
The reason why I started was because I was a house dancer stripping, and an agent came up to me and he said, would you be interested in being a headliner, a feature on the road? It's sort of like being a rock star. You go to that club, you perform shows, you get paid, and you're the headliner. So he said to me, you know, you have that, so I want to make you a feature, so you're going to need some credits.
And that would mean more money when you go out
Exactly.
and become a feature.
That's exactly right. That's what happened.
That's a big step, though.
I never, and you know, and I say this, when I first got into the business, I got in there unconsciously. I had never even watched an adult movie.
Really, really.
I never knew anything about it.
But is it still a family for you?
No.
I mean, do you know a lot of the people? Or is there so many new faces coming and going and you just don't even know?
Yeah, I mean, there's still that group, that 90s group of people that were still close, and I know that they're the people I can go to, and they're the core. But there's so many people getting in it now, and it's not a good place to be anymore. And sometimes, you know, it's sad that I have to say that, but I have to be honest about it.
Do you still have to audition? When I mean audition, I mean your business.
Me?
I had an actor, Bradford Dillman. He had told me that, you know, he's been in so many things, The Way We Were, and one of the movies he was in, and he still has to audition to these young people who have never seen him before, you know, and it's embarrassing, quite embarrassing. So do a lot of the people that you have to meet, have they always seen you? Are you well known among these new people that are directing?
No, they don't know who I am.
Now that, well,
They don't know who most of the legend girls are.
And how does that make you feel when you have to go? Is it demeaning? Do you feel?
No, I don't feel, no.
They don't know?
That's all right. I know who I am.
Well, let me tell you, we all know who you are who've watched your movies.
Oh, gosh.
So you brought with you a clip.
I did.
And what's exciting about this clip is that there's this potential, from what I heard, that your acting in this might get you a nomination for an award.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
What award?
I hope it would be Best Actress.
Best actor. And what's the AVN award? Is it?
They have XBiz has one, AVN. There's a few different award shows.
Okay, so all the different award shows could be looking at the same
Yes.
movie and
Yeah,
video. And
deciding.
Very good. Well, let's watch you in this. What was the title there?
The title of the movie is Mother Superior 2.
Okay, Rebecca Bardoux. Let's watch.
Mother, I was told you wanted to see me.
Yes, Sister Mary. I want to talk to you about your behavior today while the woman reporter was here nosing around.
Did I do something wrong, Mother?
I had just told Miss Bissett that there was no Sister Anna at our convent. And then you came in screaming Sister Anna needed assistance. Was there some reason why you couldn't take me to the side and speak to me privately? Why did you make such a spectacle of yourself, Sister Mary, and cause me to look like a liar?
I don't know, Mother. I suppose I was frightened and in a panic, and I wasn't thinking. I beg your forgiveness.
Unfortunately, your melodramatic display is now going to bring unwanted attention to our convent.
If there's anything I can do to redeem myself, Mother, I'm filled with shame over my actions.
I'm afraid I can't let it go with just a mere apology, Sister Mary. You've never had a lashing before, Sister Mary, and perhaps that's why you allowed yourself to become so complacent. This will remind you to govern your actions with more care. Turn around.
Oh, wow. You're watching Rebecca Bardoux on Ken Boxer Live. When you see that, By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
By the way, is that the only part of the show that you're not, where you're clothed?
No.
But you're clothed throughout the whole
Yeah, most of it. There's just a small part. In fact, it was that goes into the, I don't know how to describe it. I guess you'd call a sex scene. The one thing that I enjoyed about doing The Mother Superior is I was working for Nico Noel, and she is what in the business they want to call feminist director, feminist porn, because it's light couples porn.
Now, is that how much of that is extemporaneous versus you actually have a script?
There's script, yeah.
Okay.
It's
So how
all
many
scripted.
takes would you do on that?
We do different angles. You do a master shot, then you do close up of each one.
Now, when you see yourself in that type of setting, not doing a sex scene, but actually seeing some dialogue, how do you see yourself?
I'm very proud of Mother Superior.
Okay.
My acting, I'm really proud of it. All through my career, I never thought I could act. I'm not a trained actress. I don't know what I'm doing. When I don't know my lines, I put my head down like this. And the director always used to say to me, Rebecca, you don't know your lines, at least look good.
Well, what scene would you love to be doing, but you've never had the opportunity to do? Is there anything in this XXX world that you would want to do and you just haven't had that opportunity? Is there anything that comes to mind? No?
Gosh,
Well,
I've done just about I just covered just about every fantasy that
which
you
is your
could ever
favorite?
think of.
Which is your favorite?
What-
Let us know.
My favorite
Yes.
right now?
Well,
I mean, I have different
Go
ones.
ahead. You're turning red.
I know. My favorite scene is definitely, I like to have, I like one-on-one, I like men. Not really into being with the girls, but it's part of the job.
Anything you wouldn't do?
I would not have any more than 2 men with me. I would never do a gangbang, things like that.
All right. Well, you brought another clip.
Oh, another
Describe, everyone wants to see, describe what we're about to see this time.
Oh, this is another movie.
Yeah, we had another movie.
Both of these movies I made relatively at the same time period with Nico Noel. So this is Lesbian Stepmother.
You're in great demand, like I said. 2 movies already we're seeing, and you've done this year? These
That
were
was
done
last year,
last
yeah.
year?
But they were just released.
Okay.
In September. So.
Okay.
In fact, Mother Superior is now #1 on the adult. I call it adult Netflix. It's where you go and you can view all the adult movies, and we're #1 right now.
Congratulations. Well, let's watch this one.
Okay.
All
yeah,
right.
this is a different one.
Okay, let's watch.
I've tried. She said such horrible things to me. She accused me of having an affair with you before her mother died.
Well, we both know that's not true. Not exactly, anyway. I mean, we both wanted to, obviously, but...
I'm sorry, it's just the way I was raised. I don't believe in sex outside of marriage. I need to save something for the wedding night.
I understand, darling. And that wedding night will be happening, and very soon.
Sweetheart, I love you, but I don't think I can go through with this. Not while she's living here with us. I think we better call off the wedding.
Terry, no, that's crazy. She'll come around.
I can't live like this, Frank. I'm not comfortable. She hates me.
Maybe it's time for April to think about moving into her own place then. She's 18. She's going to college. It's not a bad idea for her to start her own life and, well, let us start ours.
Do you really mean that?
Let's talk about it when I get home, okay? I'll be there in a few days.
You're my dream man.
Love you too, baby. Now get some rest.
Bye.
Oh, yes. The diabolical Rebecca Bardoux. My God, why aren't you even being nominated for that scene?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't
that
hear
looks
too
very
much about
dramatic.
that. That was another good movie. That was me going back into my soap opera watching days. And pulling
Looks
that
so
Erica
diabolical.
Kane character.
But, here's the thing. You're on the set, you said earlier in your career, it's like sometimes hours on hours on hours, and you don't get the adulation of a, immediate feedback of your audience. You'll get it maybe if you're, you go to a show and one of the award shows and all your fans are there. But now you've stepped into another spotlight. You are now headlining some areas of your comedy routine.
Yes.
And you brought with you a clip, we'll see it shortly, but there you get immediate feedback. Here in the adult world, you don't.
Right.
So do you like that immediacy of the audience?
It's not, I don't mind it. It's not something I need to have. But when I'm doing my stand-up, I want them out there.
Oh, but you gotta like it. I mean, you were doing the stripping.
Yeah.
And in that sense, you got the
Oh, the
right
atten-
there, the
you know,
attention.
yeah.
Right. But now you come back kind of full circle. Now you're in front of a large group again, but you're on the line. Another side of Rebecca is being seen.
Yeah.
And
It is a completely different side.
yeah, let's talk about that. Talk about how that came about, where all of a sudden you just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to do some comedy about what I do.
That's not what happened. This is incredibly crazy. I was at a New Year's Eve party for January, and I met this guy. He came up to me and introduced himself. He was an agent for a comedian. He was a fan of mine. He'd known me. He followed me for many years. He listens to my radio show. He said, have you ever considered doing stand-up? I never in my entire life even thought about it. And I said, no, I never did. Why? He said, well, because you're funny and you've lived such a tragic life. You can turn it into comedy.
Well, do you find that to be true? Is it kind of a psychological edge where you can get out the demons, if you will?
Yes. Actually, yes. It has made a big difference for me coming out, because most of my life I was told to be ashamed of what I did, and I didn't know if I should be doing it. It's not right. Society doesn't want me to do it. I'm not treated. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing, but.
Well, which makes you feel better, a great orgasm or a great joke that you just, delivered?
Great joke.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you think it would have been different 20 years ago? Could you ever have done stand-up?
Oh, I never would have done stand-up 20 years ago. There's no way. I was too insecure, low self-esteem. There was no way I could have ever got up there and basically made fun of myself and looked at my career as a funny career. Instead of 10 years ago, I look at it like, oh my God, what am I doing? Now I'm like, what? This is funny. And it is funny.
Is it hard to write comedy?
No.
And especially about yourself?
No.
No?
No. I find that I have writing partners that help me, because coming from where I came from, I get a little too harsh. And I have to tone it down and use words more sociably acceptable, if you will.
Sure. But how much rehearsal would you have to do your comedy show? When we see a 5-minute show, how long does it take you to actually prepare for that?
Not long, because I'm bad about that.
It's life.
It's life. It's basically life. It doesn't take long at all. I just go up there and start talking, and things start hitting me.
But are we seeing, you're just ad-libbing for the most part?
Actually, yeah. The very first show that I ever did, it was a total ad-lib. We sat down, and Richard Vila, my mentor, said to me, this is what you should talk about, your life in the industry.
Well, the people in the audience, let's say they were family members, friends, would they look up at you and say, as you're doing your routine, that's Rebecca, that's just her at home. Is this how you would be? Or are you different? Is your persona different on stage as a comedian than what we would see at home?
I'm funny at home. I'm quick-witted, and I'm always joking around and cracking jokes. But I'm not as tough in person as I am on stage.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, having seen the clip earlier, it's a lot of funny stuff. I'm really happy that you brought it, because I want our audience to watch it. So let's watch it. This was at the Comedy Store.
This is the Comedy Store in the original room. It was the first time I ever appeared at the Comedy Store.
Okay, let's watch Rebecca.
And
as the gentleman said, my name is Rebecca Bardoux, and if some of you are looking at me sort of funny and saying, you know, for some reason that girl looks familiar, where did I see her before, what was I doing, and you're looking at me, the only thing I have to say to you is you watch too much porn. I am a 20-year veteran of the adult industry. Thank you. 20 years. That's a lot of cock sucking, and I've got the stretch marks around my mouth to prove it. Right? Yeah, I know. I'm happy with them. But you know, my friends are asking me, you know, Rebecca, 20 years in the adult business. Why all of a sudden have you decided that you want to do comedy? I said, well, you know, I'm thinking about it this way. The past 20 years, I've been laying down on the job. So for the next 20 years, I'm going to be standing up. I think it'll work out great. My legs are strong, so absolutely. Oh, I love your laugh. Thank you for laughing at me. Oh, well, thank you. You know, porn is not my entire life. You know, I've changed it up a little bit. I'm trying new things. I have a radio show. I have a column, blog, and everything like that. So I'm branching out, meeting new people. And I've noticed I'm starting to date more now. I'm meeting all these interesting people, so I'm starting to go out, I'm starting to date, I'm having a good time. Everybody's super hot that I go out with, of course. And the only problem that I have, and I hope you guys can help me out with this, is I don't know what to do about farting on my date. You know, it's like, I know it's not good, I hold it in. I know it's not good to hold in, I hold it in. And then when I get out of there, I just let it loose. I am just all over the place like a machine gun, all over the place. So I'm still working on that, how to decide how to handle that. But one more thing, ladies, before I go, one tip. If you do fart on a date, and it really doesn't smell that bad, it's a good night to have anal sex. Thank you, I'm Rebecca Bardoux.
That's funny stuff. Rebecca Bardoux is our guest. She was performing at the Comedy Store, and you brought us that clip.
Yeah.
Is it easy for you to watch that versus the X-rated
Yes.
stuff? Okay.
Much
And
easier.
I was watching you watching the monitor. You were having fun. It made you laugh.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it. I'm proud of it. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I actually, you know, some of the movies I did, I'm very proud of them, but I can't be proud of them because they are in somewhat of a taboo situation. I can be proud of this.
Yeah, but you know, you're so vulnerable. Being, you know, stand-up comedy is one of the hardest things, and you look like you were having fun, and it was easy for you.
Oh, I love being on stage. It's great. It's very easy,
And
but it's like you're saying. It's like it's funny because I was just thinking about this today. But they say those comedians, how comedians are just so crazy, and it is. And I think that I'm starting to get that way because you're pulling all these demons out that. For a while, you were like, oh, I can't tell people this, and now you're bringing it out and making fun of it. So it's sort of weird.
Yeah.
I can see.
I think you told me that you were thinking about going in another direction in comedy, thinking some more kind of comedic stuff.
Actually, I was fortunate enough to meet Camille Soler. She's on Comedy Central. She has a show there, and she has a show every Sunday at the Comedy Store. It's called Whores on Sunday. Well. I'm like, did you make that show for me? But anyway, she invited me to perform in the show, and I performed, and then we just got to click together. We just worked well together. So we just finished producing our first Whores on Sunday. I don't know, I guess we call her a monthly extravaganza, isn't it? It's not even my title, it's her show. And what we do is we're mixing burlesque and comedy and magic, sort of, you know, back in the vaudeville days.
Sure.
You know, instead of going to a show for 2 hours and having comedian after comedian, we have some burlesque dancers up there. We have some magicians up there. I created an alter character for myself that she is sort of going with my act. She's a washed up burlesque dancer.
Really?
Her name, yes, is Suzette Chaplips. And she's internationally famous burlesque dancer. But you know,
is that something you do every week?
I do that once a month there. Yeah.
And it's the Comedy Store?
It's the Comedy Store monthly. It'll be November 24th. You can always check it out. Facebook has Whores on Sunday. You can go there and check it out. But
Well, do you ever think there'll be a time when you're going to just stop with the X-rated and just stick fully with the comedy?
yeah.
Is that sometime soon?
Well, this is the situation. I have 20 years in the industry. That's what I do for a living. And when someone calls me up and says, Rebecca, we're going to give you this ridiculously large amount of money if you'll come and work in our movie. And I think it's really stupid of me to say no, because that's who I am and that's what I do. So I sometimes I still do it.
So tell us though, Rebecca, how much longer do you think you'll do it?
I don't want to do it anymore.
Really?
No, I'm done. I feel sorry for the people that have to see my naked body up there. You know, I'm like.
But aren't you in more demand now? I mean,
Yeah.
for the older
Oh,
woman?
yes, the MILFs, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
So it might be that you might stay with.
Oh, I
the
think
business.
I should stop. I think I should get out.
Well, we hope whatever you do, you'll continue and succeed, and I know you will succeed in everything you'll do, and we hope you just continue
thank
doing
you.
what you're doing.
I don't
Keep on.
really know what I'm doing, but
Well, thank
You
you
know how it
so
is.
very much for being
thank
here.
you, Ken. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's it for another edition of Ken Boxer Live. Hey, we don't want you to leave us just yet. Stay with us on kenboxerlive.com and catch all the latest Ken Boxer Live programs, news, and future guests. Now, if you've missed some of our past shows, just go to that website. And you're going to just see everything that we've done for the last probably 7 weeks on that website right now. So for my guest, Rebecca Bardoux, and for my director, George Montalvo, and for my fantastic production crew, I'm Ken Boxer saying we'll see you next week on Ken Boxer Live. Good night, everybody, and thank you for watching. We hope to see you again.